Hey folks, Allison here. Well, welcome to Holy Week in the weirdest Lent ever. I mean, this has been completely unprecedented with the quarantine and with the churches closed and no masses and not being able to receive the sacraments. It's been weird. But we're finally in Holy Week and we're moving toward resurrection. But I want to talk about something that I think is really interesting. You know, when we pray the rosary, and I hope you do every day, it's really important. We go from the sorrowful mysteries of the carrying of the cross and the crucifixion, and then we pick up the next set of mysteries on the resurrection. And yet there's a little day in between, known as Holy Saturday, that we just completely skip over. And think about it. That must have been a really painful day for Mary, for the apostles. They went through the horror of the crucifixion, and now it's just dead silent. No access to Jesus. And what happened? Where were the apostles? They were hiding for fear, all right? They were scared. Everybody was completely thrown into chaos after that. Now, they knew him. They knew the prophecies. They knew what he told them. They saw the miracles. They saw him raise Lazarus from the dead. So they're still afraid. And where do we see them? They're walking on the road to Emmaus and they encounter Jesus, but they don't recognize him. Why? Because of their fear. They can't see him. And they tell him the story. You're the only one who doesn't know what happened. And they tell about Jesus and the crucifixion. And they say this: we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Had hoped. It was past tense. Right? They were so afraid. And eventually they see him in the breaking of the bread. When he breaks the bread and celebrates the Eucharist, their eyes are opened and they see him. So it's interesting to me that we skip over Holy Saturday entirely. But if the truth is told, isn't that where most of us live? We know the story. We know about resurrection. And yet we live in fear, locked up in fear that sometimes we can't see Jesus working in our lives. We can't see the resurrection. Now, what is the remedy for this? How do we deal with this in terms of, especially after this crazy Lent that we've been through? A couple of lessons. First, remember God's mercies. Read the scriptures. Look at how he has acted throughout history. I can't help but think, especially in Holy Week now, as we move toward the Easter Vigil Mass, which you probably won't be able to go to, about Pharaoh, how God sent one plague after another, and eventually parted the Red Sea for his people, and the Egyptians and their chariots just perished. God is at work, and he's working for his people, and he's protecting us. Joseph in the Old Testament sold into slavery by his brothers, but God used that whole event and that injustice to save the Jewish people from famine later on. So remember God's mercies. Remember how he works in your life when you find yourself like locked up in fear. And I'm recording this video early, so God only knows between now and Holy Week what else is going on in the world. But don't be dismayed. God is in control. The other thing is to stay close to the Eucharist. And if the churches aren't open yet, they will open eventually. But make spiritual communions, all right? They recognized him in the breaking of the bread. The sacraments enable our faith. They help us, right? And the other thing is to take action. Now, Mary Magdalene and the other women went to anoint the body of Jesus. And that had to be risky after he was crucified. God only knows what could happen. But they had the courage to go there and anoint the body. And what was the reward? Mary Magdalene was the first person to see Jesus resurrected, and she announced that good news to the apostles. So take action. When you feel fearful, take action. But we're not a Holy Saturday people. We are an Easter people. We live the resurrection. Think about that, all right? If you're living in Holy Saturday, if you find yourself locked up in fear, focus on the resurrection because it's coming, it happened, and God is always, always with us. So I wish you all a blessed Holy Week, a joyous and happy Easter. Please like and share this video, and please hit the subscribe button. God bless you.